right off the top, hate to come in here on a Monday and say, I told you so. I'm not that guy. Yes, I am. I told you so. I told you the Rams were not dropping $5 billion on a brand new house and taking that big swing for Matthew Stafford and another big swing for Von Miller and bringing in Odell just to have somebody else come into their $5 billion house and win their Super Bowl. They did not go to all that trouble, all that expense, and push pretty much everything they had to the center of the table just to get there. They had already done that. They did what they did to win the whole damn thing. And then they went out and they did it. The damn thing. Whose house? Rams' house. Whose Super Bowl? Rams' Super Bowl. Because this is Los Angeles, the city of champions. You can hate on this city and its fans all you want, because frankly, that's what a hell of a lot of you do. Not all of you, but a lot of you. A lot of you are here to hate. It's who you are. It's what you do. You'd rather hate on us than win with your own. Think about what I just said. It is true for some of you. You would rather hate on us than win with your own. Look in the mirror and own that. For instance, how many of you hate LA? I can answer that. Pretty much all of you. How many of you hate LA, and why do you hate LA? Because you're jealous. We've got the best weather. We have the best food. And we are just stacking chips, stacking titles. Don't hate what you can't duplicate. Don't hate what you can't replicate. Oh, here's an idea. Here's a really novel concept. How about this? Just don't hate. Just don't hate. The simplest way to sum up last night's game, though, is that old cliche. Big-time players making big-time plays in big-time moments. Last night was about the stars and star power. And I've always said this about this town. It's a town built on star power. It's a star-driven town. And the Rams have built themselves around star power. They didn't nickel and dime their way to this Lombardi. They didn't fluke it. They didn't fake it. They didn't gimmick it up. They were not gimmicky little bitches. No, they loaded up. They loaded up on stars, then they won it all. Odell Beckham with the first TD. Cooper Kupp open again, as always. Death, taxes, and Cooper Kupp being wide ass open.
Cooper Kupp's got it!
Matthew Stafford with the drive of a lifetime and the man who won the game. Aaron Charles Donald, Super Bowl legend. I said it several times last week from Radio Row. I said it in my Row Minutes. I said it prior to the game itself yesterday from SoFi on one of my Instagram stories. I said, quote, 99 is not going to let them lose this game. And he didn't. No way in hell that was going to happen on that GOAT's watch. Not in his house. Not with the Lombardi on the line. This guy does not lose in that situation. Not after already having one slip away. He flat out imposed his will on that game in the fourth quarter. I want to reiterate that. 99 was not going to let them lose. Not in his house. Not in that game. There was no way he was getting this close to a Super Bowl and letting it slip away. No chance. Just like there was absolutely no chance that Samaje Perine was getting away from him on third down with the game on the line. The hell were the Bengals doing giving it to that guy in that situation? More on that in a moment. Because with the Super Bowl on the line, the hell are you doing not giving it to your best back? And then on top of that, running it directly at one of the greatest defensive players in league history. Of course, 99 took it upon himself to then finish the game right after that. I mean, this dude, 99, put that team on his back in the fourth quarter and with the game on the line. Just like he did in the NFC Championship game. Just like he always does. The Rams have plenty of stars, lots of stars, but Aaron Donald is the star. In the words of Sean McVay, quote, he is the effing man. And as long as we're talking about stars, you got to give it up. You have to give respect to Matthew Stafford. You know, the guy that everybody doubts, the guy that everybody loves to question. What are the questions now? Where are your doubts now? Like, how different, this is amazing to me, how different would Matthew Stafford's life and legacy be this morning if he did not ask for a trade out of Detroit? How different would it all be if he had just stayed with the Lions? And would anybody have blamed him if he had just stayed with the Lions? If he had just remained in the place where he was drafted, accepted his fate, and then played out his entire career there? Just think about what that decision and this year has done for this guy. What it's done for his life, his legacy. He didn't just want to go to a new team. He wanted to go to a Super Bowl contender. He wanted to play in games that mattered. He wanted that pressure. He wanted what every single great athlete in the history of the world wants. They want to know how they would do on the big stage. And he wanted to answer the question, are the Lions not winning because of Stafford, or is Stafford not winning because of the Lions? You got your answer last night. You got it on that epic 15-play, 79-yard drive where he hit the Rams offense with the paddles. Because, let's be honest, for most of the second half, that Rams offense was brutal to watch. Without Odell, without Tyler Higbee, they had nothing. They kept trying to establish the run and got nothing. They couldn't complete a pass. Stafford's targets were expectant father Van Jefferson, a third-string tight end, a seventh-round rookie, and a running back who just came off injured reserve who could not get anything going. And then on top of that, they couldn't find Cooper Kupp either. I mean, it was painful to watch. The Rams went from looking like they were going to blow the Bengals out early to looking like they might get blown themselves out after that disastrous start to the second half. And then what would that have looked like? You could just see the stories that were being written already about Sean McVay, and they were not going to be pretty. That he got too cute with that Philly special, that he got too desperate, that he resorted to gimmicks, that you trade for Matthew Stafford to be a quarterback, not a receiver. 0-2 in Super Bowls, big game choke artist, thinking too much about retirement instead of winning that game and actually floating that story out there himself before the game. You could see all the stories being written about McVay and also about Stafford, that he was what his critics said that he was. Or just a stat guy, but not a guy who can win a big game. Never mind that he ended Tom Brady's career, allegedly. Probably not, but beat him on the road with that bomb to Kupp. Never mind that he found a way back into the 49ers game and got his team to the Super Bowl. Lose that game, and this guy is getting killed this morning. All of the credit and all of the goodwill that Stafford had banked in the past 12 months would be gone, and then he would be back to the guy who just can't win the big game. And then before you come in here and tell me that last drive was all about Kupp, just don't do that either. Of course, Kupp's a stud. But that take tells me you did not see that no-look pass from Stafford to Kupp on 2nd and 7 with over 3 minutes to go. Do yourself a favor. Get the behind-the-quarterback view of that pass and then tell me that it was all about the receiver. The throw was brass, and it was perfect. Couldn't win the big game. He just won the big game. And as I talked about with Will Brinson when he came on last week, we did discuss this prior to the game. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Stafford's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, that's not happening if he stays in Detroit. In Detroit, he's the Hall of Very Good. In L.A., he's in the Hall of Fame. Because that's what happens in L.A. You come here to be somebody. You come here to be a champion. And as I said multiple times on the NFL Today on CBS this season, that's how we do it in Hollywood. Give him credit. I'm telling you, you want to talk about planning your work and working your plan and taking big swings and going all in. Imagine getting all the way there and not finishing. Imagine getting all the way there and not winning. Because you know this team is not going to look the same way next year. There are other issues now. They were built to win it yesterday.
That's pretty awesome.
And it looked like at the start of the second half it was getting away from them. But they stayed the course. Bengals fans, I know you are hurting. Man, there was a lot of Bengals fans in that house yesterday. And for a long time, I got to admit, it did not feel like Rams' house. It felt like Bengals' house. So let's get into all of this. 1-800-636-8686. I do want to talk about you Bengals fans and how I think you should feel this morning. I understand that was the ultimate kick in the package. And I'm not saying that you should be happy with that. I'm not saying that it's all good and it's all okay. But it's going to be all good and all okay if they get some help up front and do something about those matadors and turnstiles that are trying to get Joe Cool killed every single Sunday. But it could be awesome. In fact, it already is awesome. What a great run. What a great ride. So we will get into that. I would say, I'll tell you a dude who's not having a good morning, but I bet he is. Eli Apple. Eli doing Eli things. Eli being Eli. Quote, Eli going to Eli. I would say this dude's probably having a horrible morning, but I bet he's already forgotten it all happened. I bet this dude didn't even know it happened. I bet this dude convinced himself he was nowhere near where it happened. I almost respect it. Like there's having a short memory and then there's being totally delusional. We'll get into that. The one thing that I usually never, ever do the morning after the game is get all caught up on the commercials, get all caught up in the halftime show. But I was really caught up in that halftime show. I thought the halftime show was amazing. In fact, I got to be honest. Being in the stadium for that halftime show, it was mesmerizing.